Hey guys, good morning and welcome to episode 2 of Face It. Today I'm going to be interviewing myself because there are a few things that you guys don't know about me yet, and today we're going to divulge those things, and I think a lot of you are going to be able to relate on a certain level. But before we get into it, are there things, guys, that you know you need to do, but you just don't do? You know you need to go to the gym, you know you need to eat healthy, you know you need to take your supplements, you know you need to take your vitamins, you know you need to do that thing from work, you know you have a presentation coming up and you procrastinate all of it, or you skip out on doing it for whatever reason? I bet you do. Or do you ever think about how when you have a goal, you have to change and be different for that goal? And if you don't change or be different, then you cannot achieve that goal? Or do you ever have a goal or a dream and you just don't even try because you don't think that you can? So I'm going to bet that none of you know that I used to have a horrendous stutter. Okay, I'm not going to be nice about it to myself because it was bad. Okay, usually when we think of stutter, we think of like saying or the like whole words that you just can't get past. Guys, no, this was syllables that I couldn't get past or get out. It felt like there was a brick stuck in my throat all of the time. Okay, where I would get stuck on like, here's an example. Let's say I'm trying to say the word dog in a sentence, and I'll be there for what feels like 5 minutes. Duh, like that. It was so bad. So we're going to kind of come all the way back to when I was in probably first or second grade, because I didn't actually know that I had a stutter, oddly enough. I didn't realize it until somebody pointed it out to me. And so for me, a lot of why I had that was like insecurity, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, lack of just foundational self-belief that I had in myself, right? I didn't believe in myself, and I didn't think that I could afford to take up any space, right? I was always trying to be in the corner. I didn't talk to anybody. I was very quiet. So it was really hard for me, elementary, middle school, and high school. And after high school, it got so much easier. So very grateful. But yeah, you know, being underestimated does have its perks, because then the kids might not bully you directly to your face all the time. That was just my experience. So then we get to middle school, and at this point, man, it was so bad, because at this point we had to choose classes, like electives, where you would have to present, like it was like part of the grade was the presentation. And the funny part was, it was like this juxtaposition where I liked the idea of researching, gathering information, because I really like to learn, and like putting it all down in the PowerPoint and like all the things. But then once it came to the presentation, it was always like, no, I'm not doing that. But inside I wanted to do it. See, that's how I knew that like I was meant to not be that way, because inside I wanted nothing more than to be able to do this. You know, I feel like maybe for some people they're like cool with not doing it, but I wasn't. I really wasn't. And I really had this like hunger to speak in front of people, because I like talking to people. I'm not like the most extroverted person in the world, but like I have my moments, and I know how to carry a conversation. I know how to talk now. And the few times that I was able to kind of do it when I was younger, it gave me so much life. It really, really did. But it was so bad that I had to talk to my teacher at the time and tell her like the situation, so that way she knew what was going on when it happened. And that really helped a lot. I'm super grateful to be able to, I am super grateful to had been able to have a teacher like her, because she was awesome. She was great. And then I got to my sophomore year of high school, and my English class, it involved a lot of presenting. And I also spoke to my English teacher at the time. Love her. She was great to me. I had three really great English teachers. This one, the first one that I'm talking about, she was awesome. She was awesome. She totally understood what was like going on and stuff. And whenever I would present and I would do kind of good, she would really, really like tell me that I did a good job. And that really boosted my confidence a lot, because I was like, oh, maybe I can do this. I was, I think, 14 at the time. I was like straight into high school. Oh, and I did forget to mention, so there was this incident when I was in 6th grade where I had an injury to my knee, and supposedly like my friends thought that I was faking it, or one of my friends, I don't know. And because, I wasn't faking it, and I actually got that same injury like over and over and over again when I was younger, like maybe like 10 or 15 times. But I wasn't faking it. And so that was one of like the earliest times that I was like, oh, like other people have their own thoughts. I don't know why she thought I was faking it, but that made me even more insecure, because I was like, I'm not, and I'm not doing this for attention. I never even liked attention. I felt like, you're my friend, you're supposed to have my back, and you did not. You know what I mean? And then like periodically throughout the school year of like 8th grade to 9th grade, there were some people who like bullied me for the stuttering. The most why do I always say that? I always say pivotable instead of pivotal. Jesus. The most pivotal, oh my God. One of the most pivotal moments was being in band, because being in band is what started to get me out of my shell. It was like maybe 30%, you know? I started to get a sense of humor. The thing is, I was a baritone euphonium. It's like low brass. And like that section is like pretty much saturated by like boys. So they were very like free spirited and they didn't really care about anything. And so I started to kind of like bounce back and forth. And then the girls who would hang out around them too, like, were really cool in the sense that like they were super chill and they were really inviting and welcoming. And they were older than me. They were seniors. I was a freshman. And so I started to kind of like learn that. But that's one level. Okay. That definitely helped a ton and gave me like a sense of self. But then I think the truest moment that I really just boom was when I was 15. We had our company, Beauty and Beast Cuisine. This was Carlos, Francesca, me, primarily Carlos, Francesca, and my parents, aka. And something happened where employees didn't show up, okay? And my dad had to go to one of the other locations to take care of something. And he was like, hey, you're gonna run the store for a day. And guys, when I heard that, I almost peed my pants. I had never like done that before at all. And so what I did was I told him I can't do it. And I was so certain. I was like, I cannot do this. But he forced me to do it. So what I did was I took that little headset for the drive-thru, took somebody's order, near pooping and peeing my pants, went to the bathroom, cried for 2 or 3 minutes, came back out and kept going. And guys, number one reason why I didn't want to do it is because I knew that I would stutter. There were hundreds of people coming in and out of that store every single day. Questions that I didn't know the answers to. Systems that I didn't know how to work. Because mind you, all I had done prior to this point was like prepping. I was cutting, chopping, plating, whatever. And I did that very, very efficiently and actually very quickly. Like that wasn't hard for me because I've always felt like I needed like to prove something, like not only to myself, but like to my family. So after those 5 hours finished where I was running the store, I was so shocked that I actually made it out alive. Like, I'm not joking. Like, oh my God. It honestly gave me a high when I did things really quickly and fast. It still does. I didn't know how to do customer service. I didn't know how to close and open a box. I didn't know how to handle hard questions from clients. I didn't know what the spiel was. He taught me everything, or he taught me the spiel for like how to handle like customer interaction on the spot. I definitely will say the employees that were there, they were super encouraging. They were really nice to me. So whether or not that was because I was like the owner's daughter or whatever, doesn't matter. It really helped, and it really helped me not feel as terrible as I felt in the moment. It was like my skin was crawling, my heart was racing, my stomach like felt like it was gonna fall out of my body. Like, no. And actually, you know what? People up until that point knew me as being quiet, shy, and reserved. And so when I went back to school after COVID, because this was the time that I was doing that, I think. When I went back to school after COVID, this girl actually, she's like, I'm talking to her in my science class, and she's like, oh my God, you're so different now. And I'm like, really? You think so? She's like, yeah, like you're not the same at all. And I'll never forget that moment. It was so cool because I was like, wow, I'm actually changing, because there was a lot of friction for what I felt like was between me and my dad, in the sense that like I didn't want to do it, guys. I didn't want to do it, but he forced me to do it. I'm so thankful that I had somebody to force me do something that I didn't want to do. Like that, because I'll be quite honest. That was the only way that I was going to do this. That was the only way that I was going to succeed at anything. Because the skill of talking to people, I don't care what job you're in. You can be sitting at a desk, you can be a teacher, you can be a lawyer, you can work at HEB, you can do whatever it is that you're doing in your life. And if you don't have that skill, you just can't. But where I went wrong, and like where most people also like slip up, is like you learn to like accept this thing that you think that you are, but you're not. So I guess my dad knew, like, no, like this crap, this is not you. And at the time, I was very resistant. But when you don't have a choice, you do it. And if there's one thing that I've learned being at my ripe age of 22 right now, is that if you're not growing, you're dying. Okay? That is something my dad has always taught me, and something that I've carried into my life now and will continue to carry. If I'm not growing in some aspect, then I'm dying. We're meant to continue to progress. We're not meant to just stay stuck. My dad had also forced me to do videos, take pictures, and talk to people. He would put me on the spot while he was talking to a client and be like, oh, like, Sadie, this, he would refer to something we had spoken to previously, and I would be like dumbfounded. Like, what are you doing? So for a while, man, it was horrible. It was one of the worst experiences of my life. I know I sound like I might be sounding like dramatic, but it wasn't. And because here's the other thing, is I had gone to church several times, and the youth leader, I think that's what it is, or something, they made fun of me at every single one. When I introduced myself and I stuttered, they laughed at me and they said, ha ha ha, you don't even remember your name? Like, how stupid. This is the youth leader telling me this. That happened at 3 different churches, guys. And then I had friends that also would make fun of me and all these things. And so it wasn't cool. It was terrible. Like, it was horrible. I would cry, guys, for hours and hours sometimes. I wouldn't want to go to school. I would wake up as soon as my alarm rang. Like, I was so anxious that I wanted to throw up every single day. That was for years and years and years. I also would like to add, guys, that when I was in kindergarten and I had to go to school, I would throw up on occasion because of how nervous I was to be around other kids and not be home. So, if any of you guys know me and think, oh, she's not ever been nervous, I have, girl. I've been in that club before. It sucks. So don't ever say that you can't do it. Until one day it stopped. And when it stopped, like, I felt like my world changed. It's like it gets me a little emotional because I'm like, I used to, what I felt like was this I felt small, I felt inferior, I felt insecure, I felt not confident. And it had nothing to do with, like, by the way, my physical appearance. I was never not confident in the way that I looked. It was all about the way that I carried myself and what I said and what I did. It was all those things. And so I know that probably a lot of you also relate to being shy and timid in some aspect, or to being fearful in some regard. And so I'm telling you here right now, this is your sign to please. I want you to please do the things you know that you need to do, because one day will come. Time will pass, okay? Time will pass, and all you will be living with is regret. And that's something that I didn't want to live with. I did not want to live with regret, and I still don't want to live with regret. I to this day in my life, I do not regret a single thing that I have ever done or experienced in my entire life. Maybe in the future I will, but the way that I see it and the way that I've been taught is like everything that you do, everything you experience is what makes you you. Why would I change the things that got me here? I just wouldn't do that. Or maybe that's me being naive and nothing bad enough has happened to me yet. But I beg to differ. I think there has been some pretty hard things in my life that I've had to deal with, but I wouldn't erase any of them. I think that's just erasing who I am, and why would I want to do that? I want to end this with, it does not matter what age you are. We can literally incarcerate ourselves. We can literally bury ourselves 6 feet under way before our time because we're stuck in fear, because we're stuck in not doing what we want to do, because somebody 12 miles away said, hey, I don't think you can do this, because our friend said, oh, hey, well, you probably shouldn't be doing this because blah, 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 or your friend is jealous of you, and then you end up not doing the thing because your friend's not doing it, or you want to only do things where the masses are doing them, right? You never want to stand out because you're afraid of being ridiculed. Just stop. That's all I can tell you. Exposure therapy. Fake it till you make it, okay? When I ran that store, I had to fake it till I made it, okay? I cried in that restroom, guys. I cried. I would cry multiple nights a week because of how I felt with my anxiety. But you have to just, you can't stop. You can't. There's a story that I think will tie this all together. So it's a story of this man, and this man goes to God, and God shows him all these doors. God says, in this door, you'll find all the money that you want in the world. In the next door, you'll find all the happiness you want in the world. This next door, you'll be blessed with all the family you would like. In this next door, you'll be blessed with a great career. Okay? Now, pick which door you want to go to. So, years pass by. He hasn't chosen anything. So eventually God says, okay, your time is up. You're done. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, I didn't choose yet. And he's like, yes, you did. You chose to stay stuck, and you chose to stay fearful, and you chose to not move forward. So every second you are not moving forward, and every second you decide to stay in the same place that you are actually going backwards. Every second that passes by, you give yourself another reason to not do what you need to do. All right, guys, that about wraps it up. This is the end of episode 2, where I interviewed myself on my past stuttering problem. If you guys want to watch our last episode where I interviewed my dad on his past drug addiction, please click it. It is right here on the screen. And last but not least, if there's a part that resonated with you, that you have questions, that you just want to talk about, or anything else, please leave it in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and follow us on our social medias.